Allô tout le monde, comment allez-vous? Je m'appelle Eric Cohen, je suis un des plus grands fans de Hulk au monde. My name is Eric Cohen. I am one of the biggest Hulk fans of all time, as I'm sure all of you guys are. This is a very, 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 very exciting night. We have the one and only original Hulk with us. Just a couple of things before we start, I want to mention, vous pourriez prendre des photos et filmer, mais vraiment essayez le plus possible de ne pas être trop obvious. Try and be as subtle and, no flashes, of course, and you're allowed to take a couple of photos and take some videos, but try not to make it uncomfortable for anybody on stage or anybody here. We also want to take some time to thank the volunteers. Un gros merci à tous les volontaires et tout le monde qui travaille ici chez Comic-Con. This is an amazing thing. You guys are in for quite the treat tonight. Comme j'ai dit, c'est le original Hulk, the first, foremost, one and only Lou Ferrigno.
Great to be back in Montreal. And thank you for coming because you guys make the show. You guys are the fans. You guys are the box office. You guys are the ones that supported and me and the Hulk for 42 years, and I'm still here.
Looking great.
Anyway, you too. Good to see you.
So I guess the first thing I'll ask, and we will open it up to questions, so please, I believe there's mics out there for you guys to ask questions. Si vous avez des questions, même si c'est en français, vous demandez ça en français, and I'll translate it. So I just told them if they ask a question in French, I'll translate to Lou. I think I just want to start it off by asking, you've been to Comic-Con here before.
Yes.
The last time you were here was?
Well, when I did the first time,
the first
Montreal
one?
Comic-Con of 2,000 people.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about 60,000 people. I've been here a few times before, which is great.
But what has changed? Well, first of all, we can talk about what has changed at Comic-Con, but also, coming from the Marvel universe, I don't even want to say the MCU, but things have changed so much, and superheroes are mainstream now. Do you feel it's a different kind of audience who are here for you and for the Hulk and for superheroes?
Well, you always had a strong audience, but the fact that because of social media and became a pop culture, that's why now the public embraced it. Before it was your comic book readers, the people that follow sci-fi, but now the general public. But you gotta remember one thing though, when I began the Hulk, when I did the pilot, back in 1977, Spider-Man as Captain America as a series failed. So they were gambling on the pilot of the Hulk, which I did, and it was a gamble on my part because I was training for the Mr. Olympia, which I was slated to win. So I took a chance and I decided to give it a shot. So when the show hit the air, it's amazing because every single country in the world embraced the character. Because that's
it's universal.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how much 42 years later, still the biggest iconic character in the world. But all these A-list actors now you see doing the adventure movie, which is great because back then, when I did the series, we were trying to get good actors on the show because people were saying, well, the Incredible Hulk is a comic book hero, but the whole genre has changed tremendously. Now, adventure, as a matter of fact, beating out Avatar and Titanic in the box office. I mean, over like almost $3 billion.
And you've done the voices for the Hulk in the MCU.
Yeah, you animated UPN cartoons and also for the first two movies.
If we do have questions, I'm sure you guys will come up and or raise your hand and let us know. One thing I want to know is, and this might be a hot take, I don't think anyone has done the Hulk as good as you. And I'm not blowing smoke. I really, it might be nostalgia, it might be my age, but I don't think CGI can do for a character what you did for the Hulk. I want to know what you think of the MCU Hulk versus the original.
Well, to be honest with you, it was the perfect timing because I was the Hulk my whole life, because my whole life was overcoming adversity. I was bullied. And the series, the perfect commercial for being bullied. Like when you look at Bill Bixby, he gets bullied, look what happened. His body going through the window, gets thrown around. But the interesting thing is that it was the perfect time and place. I was perfect for the role. Even Bill Bixby said to me that they had to recreate it. They couldn't have done it because, especially with the acting, I was able to show pantomime acting without speaking, the emotion, to show the sensitivity, at the same time to fit the character. So it was the perfect package, and I was very happy to be part of it because, like when you take Frankenstein, Boris Karloff, they made other Frankenstein, but who can replace Boris Karloff? It was perfect. When you think of Frankenstein, it goes right to Boris Karloff. You think about Benicio del Toro, you think about what De Niro did, or the other actors, but Boris Karloff. So I'm happy to be part of that, and that's a great opportunity.
I would be willing to bet that you guys feel the same way. Is he not the best Hulk that we've ever had? So, 4 seasons, a couple of movies. Did you have a favorite episode?
Of the Hulk? Mm-hmm. I did one episode, my first acting role. It's called King of the Beach. I play a bodybuilder training for competition and then trying to raise money for the restaurant, and then you see me on the split screen with the Hulk. So that was the breakthrough. That was the most popular show of the season because I wanted to go a step forward. They were able to give me the opportunity to show myself as an actor. And it was great because I'm very excited about it. So since then, I've done over 5 TV series, over 40 films. You know what's funny? I could do 10 Gone with the Wind movies, play Red Butler, but they still want to see the Hulk. It's gonna be me till I die. That's okay. I could be doing Comic Cons on 95 like Stan Lee say, I am the original Hulk.
What was your relationship like with Stan Lee?
Stan was fantastic. He was like my second father. I used to collect comic books when I was young, like maybe 10, 12 years old. I remember all the time I used to read the Hulk comics and just say written by Stan Lee. I wonder if he was a ghostwriter, if he was alive. So when I did the second season of the Hulk, they said a gentleman on the set wants to say hello to you. His name is Stan Lee. I said, what? I said, Stan Lee does exist? So I had a chance to meet him. And you know, he was funny. He goes, why don't you work out? You look scrawny, because Stan had a funny sense of humor. And I thanked him because I said to him, it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be what I am today. Forget about bodybuilding because it started with Stan Lee. You see, when I was a kid, to escape the pain, I used to read a lot of comic books. I was like a real life Walter Mitty because most children are obsessed with power. So me, it was a power thing because I used to fantasize being the Hulk. The nice thing about the Hulk compared to Superman or the heroes which I follow, it was the physicality, the muscle, G versus E. That attracted me, and that's what I wanted to be like because I felt like this was power. So it started with Stan Lee.
Well, you actually were such an inspiration to me. And when I was a kid, I think learning to deal with anger by knowing that we all had a Hulk inside of us. Now, I have a 5-year-old son, and he loves the Hulk, by the way. And you know, he's always talking about being strong. And I try and tell him that strong is not about hurting people, it's about helping people. And I think that's something that the Hulk taught me at a very young age.
Definitely, because all the anger I've got, I was happy to work out in the gym because I expressed that anger, you know, working out with the weights, 3 more, 4 more. And what's interesting is that many times I'll be in the gym. When you become a world champion, you have to love pain, bodybuilder. So what's interesting, I become the Hulk during the workout. Like for example, if I had to squat 400, I would think of the things that made me angry, the people that ridiculed me, and I would look at the bar and say, I'm taking you, I'm putting you on my shoulders, I'm gonna do 12 repetitions, and you're not gonna defeat me. You can never beat up a barbell, you can never beat up a dumbbell. You need to get along with the weights, or they'll beat you up. So I found a way to do 12 reps. But I used all the anger my whole life to express through those repetitions. And that kept me safe, it kept me alive, because if I didn't have all that, I would be dead, I'd probably be doing drugs, because I had a very difficult childhood with my father, because I was not the perfect son. So it was like a love and hate relationship. So I decided not to carry his pain anymore, but instead fight for myself. That's how I grew up, and maybe who I am today.
You know, I have a million questions more. But I want to open it up also to people. Is there anybody who's ready to come and ask a question? Come on, guys. I mean, this is the Hulk. Don't be too shy.
I don't care how silly the question is about anything. You name it.
Yeah. So go on over to the mic. Get in the lineup at the mic. We've got someone ready in a Batman shirt. Uh-oh. Batman versus the Hulk.
Sorry. I'll cover up for now. Hi, Lou. I've been watching shows on TV and I see the name Lou Ferrigno Jr. and I'm guessing that's your son. And I wanted to know, have you ever worked with him on a show or a movie? And if not, will you plan on working with him in a show or something like that?
So Lou Ferrigno Jr., yeah, do you work with him?
Lou Ferrigno Jr., he's 34 now. He's doing 3 different TV series. He graduated from USC. He's on this TV series SWAT. 911, and he's filming now a new DC series called Supergirl, playing the scientist. Very smart guy, And I never really pushed him to go as an actor, but he followed me, watched me, so I'm very happy for him because, to answer your question, I just finished doing a comedy with Billy Zane, so he had a part in the film too, not the two of us together, but it's nice to have seen the Ferrigno legacy continue. He keeps saying, I'm going to be a bigger star than you, Dad. And I said to him, who raised you? Who paid for your food bill? Who paid for your college education? Shut up! He'll be here in a couple of years, and he's a great guy though.
Okay, great. Next question. Let's go to that side now.
So hi Lou. So of late we've seen like so many shows and like getting like a sort of resurgence in like cartoons or like comic books and so on. So my question is, how would you feel if the Incredible Hulk show, David Banner's and your story, continues through a series of comic books? How would you feel about that?
So how did you feel about the idea of the David Banner and Hulk story being continued through comic books?
Well, very interesting because I don't know if you know this, that the comic book was named with Bruce Banner. But when we filmed the Hulk series, CBS said we had to change the name from Bruce to David because Bruce sounded gay.
What?
Yeah, believe it or not.
I always wondered that.
That's why now when you see the CGI, the new film, it's back to Bruce Banner.
Right.
Mark Ruffalo.
It's always been Bruce Banner, but well, except for in the
CBS said it sounded gay. We don't want the name Bruce because it kind of sounded feminine. But we're going to use the name David. I thought it was the most ridiculous thing. But it's interesting from the comic book, when I used to read it, it's like Bruce Banner. And it's amazing because when I did the series, Bill Bixby and the producer try to keep it as organic, authentic as possible because you want to see the Hulk jumping from one mountain to another. All about the old-fashioned way, the fight scenes, the special effects, the transformation, and that's how we kept it. That's why the series is so popular because once you get involved in all the special effects, then you lose that power and the quality with the Hulk. That's back then in the 70s. But now I think it's going in that direction because I haven't seen the end game. But I don't like the direction the Hulk's going because he needs to be hideous and more like serious and more, questionable. You're trying to figure out who really is the creature. So that's my opinion.
Well, that was going to be, that was my question about your thoughts on the Hulk in the MCU is that, there was, I'm not sure which one it was when he would jump, like over mountains and stuff. Do you feel that that's a good direction for the Hulk, or is that too unrealistic?
Well, I late tried that when he did the first Hulk. It was too cartoonish. But over the years, it improved because the Hulk now looks less rubbery and looks much more believable. But you can't compare to the human Hulk. But that's why we wanted to keep the storyline. Like, for example, when I did the series, every episode had a laced and compelling message about life. Like, perfect example, the old Twilight Zone. Thanksgiving, we watched Twilight Zone. Every episode had a message about life. The same thing with the Hulk, like the original Star Trek with Shatner. Every episode, you're rooting for the captain and you want to see the chemistry between the cast. Today, I don't know what I'm looking at, but this original series was a beautiful chemistry. So that's my opinion.
You mentioned Star Trek. We will get to more questions. I just want to ask you, because backstage we were talking about an episode of Star Trek that you appear in. Can you tell the audience a bit about this?
There's this TV series online called StarTrekContinued.com. And it's about the original Star Trek series. You can watch it for free. It's amazing, the quality. It was directed by a guy named Vic Magana, who plays Captain Kirk. He recreated it. So he came to me, and he knew that I was a big Star Trek fan, and he said, I have a great character for you to play called Zamahan, a slave trader from another planet. But he said he's an evil bastard. Evil. I said, sure, I could play that. So anyway, they got me a makeup, 5 hours of makeup, bald head, goatee. And when you see me on the show, the episode called Rolani, when you see it, you won't know me at the beginning, but I'm one evil son of a gun. So, and the way I treat women in the show, not very pretty. So if you get a chance, check it out, because to me, that's acting. Star Trek, like the original, being a Trekkie.
You're a big Trekkie?
Yeah.
Next question on this side.
Mr. Ferrigno, thanks for coming here. What the success of the MCU, what do you think about the work of Mark Ruffalo?
He'd like to know your thoughts on Mark Ruffalo.
Well, Mark is a wonderful actor. Mark is a wonderful actor, but we had 3 different actors. We had Eric Bana,
Edward
yeah,
Norton?
Edward Norton.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo.
Sorry, Eric Bana, Edward Norton.
Right.
Yeah.
I like Bill Bixby the best. I like Edward Norton. But Ruffalo, I think he's a wonderful actor. We blend in with the Marvel aspect of the adventure. But I can't take him serious enough because Bill had that intensity. You know, Bill Bixby?
Oh, yeah.
And you knew that when he was in danger, you could feel that intensity. But because of Marvel and Disney, they've taken a different direction. You can't take it seriously like the original series. That's why people just love it so much, because I've got so many fans come up to me, they tell me when they were young, they were frightened to watch it. But they get behind the couch, but when they see me at the Hulk,
The eyes.
they want to see the Hulk because that attraction, because it's the build-up, the adrenaline. That's what makes the show.
And there was also that extra, the music walking down, the kind of, that feeling of it's like forlorn. It's
When
very
you want to
sad.
take Dave or Banner, Bill Bixby, in your home, like if you see him in the neighborhood, you want to comfort him because you see what he's going through. All that elements are beautiful.
On this side.
All right, so in the past couple of years, the superhero trend is gotten more and more popular. We have spin-offs of everything. If you had to choose, in which TV series or movie would you like to play in right now?
Of all the different superhero properties out there, TV, movies, which one would you want to participate in? You, Lou Ferrigno. So it wouldn't even have to be the Hulk, right? Even any superhero, it could be DC, it could be Marvel, it could be something else. What's the one series that you'd want to be in?
Me, probably an Asian character of like Superman or other kind of character, because I grew up with Superman. When I was a little kid, I came over to school to watch the original Superman series with George Reed, because children believe he's real. So I grew up with that. To me, that was the most impressive thing to me. So if they had a current series and they brought an Asian character to it, I would love to be involved with that, because Superman, was one of my favorites besides the Hulk. It would definitely be that.
Who would win in a fight? The Hulk or Superman?
Current Superman?
The Hulk? Yeah, sorry, the current, yes, exactly. You as the Hulk, or even Christopher Reeves as the Hulk?
Well,
As Superman, sorry.
well, they did show, I think, recently special effects like a cartoon, the Hulk fights Superman.
Yeah.
That was very fast, but it was almost equal.
Right,
Yes.
yeah.
I would say equal.
My God, that's amazing. You played in the CFL. You played football in Canada, didn't you?
Yeah, I played for a short time for the Toronto Argonauts. I never played football before because my father and people pushed me. They said you could be a great football player because the fact that I did well in the superstars, my athletic ability. And I remember they played 2 inter-squad games, and I had a good time in Toronto. So I went to the coach. I said, "Listen, I don't like hitting people. He said, get out of here, go back to bodybuilding." But it was a lot of fun for me because Canadian football is harder than American football. Because you have 3 downs instead of 4, there's more speed involved. So it was a lot of fun for me. This was back in 1976. And it was a great experience. I'm glad I've done it because I've done all the things I've wanted to do. You see, in life, we all have what you call a passion. And I believe that don't worry about trying to find success, wealth, money. Be the best version of yourself. That all will follow you. Embrace your passion. That's the whole key in life. If you can do that, you'll be rich. That's what I did because my passion was maximize my personal power, be the best in shape, fitness and health, and the mindset. Because as a young kid, most of the naysayers say, "Why are you working out with dumbbells and barbell? What's wrong with you?" People put me down, telling my parents that I need to see a doctor because all I talk about bodybuilding, muscle, dumbbells and barbell. Now, I listen to the naysayer. If I did, look where I am now. See? It's all about embracing your passion.
Life lessons from the Hulk. I think we were there last time, so we'll go on this side. Oh, okay, this side, sorry.
Bonjour, vu que j'ai
He's going to ask in French and I'll translate.
c'est ça. J'ai remarqué que beaucoup d'acteurs qui ont joué dans des films d'ici jouent des personnages Marvel et inversement. Mais vous, si vous aviez l'occasion de jouer un personnage d'ici, lequel serait-il?
Okay, so he's saying that there seems to be a lot of crossover of actors from DC who may play in an MCU movie and vice versa. So, seeing as how you're associated with Marvel, if you could play any character in the DCEU, in the DC entertainment universe, which character would that be?
I'll probably play maybe one of the villains from another planet or something different. That like I'd play like Samahan, something that he has incredible power, that he wants to control the whole galaxy. Someone like that, but someone that has a lot of integrity at the same time is like a swarthy, evil character. Definitely be like an emperor from another planet or something.
So power is still a big thing.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think another thing that people might not know about you is that you're a peace officer.
Deputy Sheriff.
Deputy Sheriff?
15 years.
Excuse me. Can you explain a little bit
Well,
about
you see,
that?
my father was an NYPD lieutenant, so I remember I was talking to the sheriff for LA 15 years ago, how much I like law enforcement. He said, why don't you go through the academy? I didn't want to be the honorary, I wanted to be the real deal. I've always wanted to be a police officer, so I went through the sheriff's academy. It was a challenge because of 6 months of driving, studying. I had my table, I had textbooks, the whole table studying about the Constitution, the laws of arrest. It was a challenge for me because the young guy that joined the force, they come right out of high school and they're just naturally like college. So for me, I had to re-educate myself and retrain my mind to handle all these different examinations because we had to take like 15, 17 examinations like multiple choice. If you fail one, you go home, you're out. So all that pressure, you have like 30 questions, 30 minutes, 60 questions, 60 minutes. And you're under supervision. You have a pencil and paper, no iPhone, no conversation, no nothing. So I focused on that. That was one of my goals because a lot of people thought that I would fall by the wayside, but I pulled it off because now I do a lot of search and rescue, and I'm like a real life hero, giving back to people, saving people's lives. And I give when I give a ticket, they have to give me their autograph, not mine, because they have to sign the ticket.
What is the reaction of someone who is, being arrested or in some ways interacting with Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk, aka the officer in front of
One time I was in the helicopter, I had to descend from the helicopter. The woman had a broken leg. She had a motorcycle accident, so she would kind of lay sideways, so they lowered me down. I remember trying to help her put her in the little basket, and she opened her eyes, and she screamed, she goes, "Oh my God, the Incredible Hulk." And then she started to cry and she fainted. I said to myself, now I have a woman that fainted. So I was like a double-fold issue.
But you are a real life hero because I think I saw recently, you saved someone's life in the gym recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's a tough situation because once I have the uniform on, I take it very seriously because you never know what you encounter. Especially, in LA, with all the shooting and all this different situation, gang related. It's tough, but I enjoy it because it's something I want to give back.
We have a question on this side.
Hello, Mr. Ferrigno. Apart from you, who do you think is the best proportioned Hercules between Steve Reeves, Reg Park, and The Rock?
But besides yourself, of all the Herculeses, who is the best proportioned? So is it The Rock, the other two?
Steve Reeves and Reg Park.
Steve Reeves or Reg Park?
I would say Steve Reeves.
I agree.
He was my idol. You know why? Steve Reeves had an 18-inch neck, 18-inch arm, 18-inch calf, and a 29-inch waist.
That's right.
When I was a kid, I went to the movie theaters, and I remember when I saw him pull down the 2 pillars, I said, that's it. That convinced me I was doing the right thing because besides bodybuilding, reading the magazine, because to me, that was the epitome of man. It was power. Like I said before, when I was reading the comic book, but Stevie was beautiful because the handsome man. But that, I realized when I saw that on the screen, I said it's okay to be a great bodybuilder with a great build and be Mr. Universe.
Great, thank you. Let's go to this side.
Hi, Lou, I have a question about pumping iron. How was it working with Arnold?
Well, when I was in pumping iron, I wasn't in my best shape because I was training for the superstars, but they came around and decided, these producers, to make the movie Pumping Iron. And I figured, why not? Let's jump on the bandwagon because it's the first time the public is going to get to see what bodybuilding is. Arnold at the time was very arrogant, very cocky, he admitted it, but at the same time, he was my idol. So I wanted to be on stage with him and defeat him, even though he's 6 years older than me, but I was very honored to be on stage with him. And, we had a great time at the competition. We flew to South Africa, we were dieting and everything. So when the movie came out, it put both of us in the mainstream. But back then, I don't know if you know, first prize was $700. That was the first prize. Today, Mr. Olympia makes much of $200,000. First prize. But we had nothing with the love of the sport. When you watch the movie today, it's beautiful because when you watch it, you want to go to the gym because it's all about the blood, sweat, and tears. We had nothing. Every one of us has a personality, and it's beautiful because that movie came all about to change everything. That's why you see all the gym today. It's because of me and Arnold. Because before me and Arnold came along, you had the YMCA. So thankfully, we're in the right time now.
Do you still have a good relationship with, do you still talk?
Definitely. I see him from time to time. He's 73 now, but he's still exercising, which is great. I mean, we still have him here.
You also appeared in I Love You Man, so a very different kind of movie. What was it like doing comedy?
Well, I did King and Queens for 7 years.
That's true too, yeah, sorry. But you know, a Judd Apatow comedy.
Well, what happened, I did a movie called The Daughter Stunt with Rodney Dangerfield. The one night the producers of King and Queens they watched me in the movie. They said, why not have Lou one time be a neighbor on the show? So when I became the neighbor, it became a recurring role because they wanted to know if I'd be interested because in real life, I go through the same thing, people making Hulk jokes, screaming down the street, you know, doing all these different poses. I said, why not? So it became such an iconic character playing myself. Then John Handberg, who wrote Zoolander and Meet the Fockers, and he said, I have a script to read and call I Love You Man. So I read the script, I said, definitely, let's give it a shot. It became the best comedy of 2008.
Listen, Rush and the Hulk in the same movie, it was my Shangri-La. I mean, I Love You Man, great movie, no?
Check it out. It's about romance and bromance.
Okay, which side are we on now? That side.
Hi, Lou. One of the things I liked about your portrayal of the Hulk was when you transform into the Hulk, you never hit anybody. Maybe you shove them, or you destroy a few objects, or you lift heavy objects. Also, I don't like how the original series ended. So I was wondering if you had a chance to write for an ending for the original series, and Bill Bixby was still around, do you think David Banner should ever find a cure, or do you think he should learn to control his relationship with the Hulk and maybe learn how to transform on will, or you know, anger management or something? Just like they did in Avengers Endgame. Like, that's how Mark Ruffalo became what in comics is the Professor Hulk.
So I'll say we have 2 minutes left, so I think we'll probably end with this.
What if these 4 people, 4 more questions?
Okay, we got 4 more questions.
What's the question you have?
So the question is, well, the person asking the question didn't like how the series ended. I think most of us will agree that, so if Bill was still around and you guys had a chance to redo it, would you take the path of him finding a cure for the Hulk, or just dealing with his anger?
Well, you know, that's a good question because before Bill died, we did the Hulk episode movie that we called The Death of the Hulk. We were planning to bring they find in the next movie of the week, they find David Banner, they take a blood cell, they bring him back to life. But this time, as the Hulk, I had David Banner's brain. Interesting. David inside me functioning as David Banner as the Hulk. But unfortunately, Bill got sick and he passed on. But that's the direction. It's a good question because you want to see a whole different side of the Hulk and also Bill Bixby because we're going to go in another direction.
I have goosebumps. I would have loved to have seen that. Okay, thank you very much. Now to this side.
Hi, Lou. I'll make it quick. You're very inspiring. How do you overcome failure in general? Like, you can give us some tips.
Overcoming failure. What are your tips to overcome failure?
Overcoming failure has to do with what you call a fear factor. Every one of us has fear inside of us. All we can do is embrace the fear, minimize the fear. Like, for example, you know what the #1 fear in life is? Public speaking. People would jump out of planes to get on stage or get in front of people. Failure, everyone fails. What you do when you fail, you analyze that failure, you say, okay, I'm going to get up again and take the next chance. Like, for example, I failed many times in my life. We all make mistakes, we're not perfect. But if you're going to accept the failure and realize what caused you to make those failures. I think it has a lot to do with the fear factor. Because here's a perfect example. I've been training a lot of people for years, and I've taken people under my wing, for example, to lose weight. I had a woman one time that came to me and she said she wanted to lose weight. When I train people, I see results. And she told me, she said, sure, I'll do everything you tell me to do. A month goes by, she hasn't lost weight, she looked the same. And I knew something was wrong, so I questioned her. And she said, well, I never fail. I said, really? I said, why do you weigh the same? And she didn't say anything. The next day she came to my facility. I walked outside, she didn't see me. So I knocked on the window, I said, how are you? She opened the window, opened the door. There was about 15 donuts falling out of the side door of the car. I counted all these donuts, and she looked at me, she started to cry. And she said, my father was in the Holocaust. And he forced me every day to be on the scale. She said, I rebelled against him. The minute she talked about herself, and then she completely changed her body tremendously. That's her fear factor, the fear of success. You see, when you do failure, when you fail, you feel that you can't succeed. The last thing you can do is analyze yourself and let yourself understand that why did I fail, and take the next step to overcome that. You learn by failure. If no one failed, this world would be boring. So just remember that. You'll never, when you fail, you always get up again and succeed. Never look back and say, I can't do it.
So we have two more questions, and I think I actually recognize the man at the mic. Is that Rodrigo?
Yep.
All right, Rodrigo, you got a question.
Hi, Eric. Hi, Lou. First of all, great to have you in Montreal. I want to take you back. You're a two-time back-to-back IFBB champion. The discipline that it takes to get you there. And then you're cast as the Hulk and you go into Hollywood. What was that like, and how did you use that discipline to keep you straight in Hollywood?
So the discipline that you needed to get to your fitness level before going to Hollywood, how did you use that discipline in your life in Hollywood?
Well, it all started when I was young with the speech and hearing. I became a bodybuilding champion because I was told that I can, and I realized that the only person to help myself is me. So I always gave myself 100%, I would go to the max. I realized to be a world champion, I had a lot of pain. I realized if I want to be a public speaker and speak better, I had to do speech therapy, work on myself. So to reach that level, it's all about maximizing your own personal power. Be the best you can be with yourself. The minute you compete with other people, you are going to lose. This is not a team sport, it's a solo sport with yourself. Every one of us has a different genetic makeup. Everyone is unique. Like I can't compete with him. He may do different things that I can't do. Like he can't compete with me as the bodybuilder. Or you take like Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner. That I can't compete with him in the Olympics. But because of genetics, but these kind of individuals, they maximize to be the best that they can be with themselves. Most people can't do that. Most people have this negative voice in their head and they feel there's a stopping point. I've gone beyond that. I want to go all the way till I fall on my face. That builds a discipline, like for bodybuilding to be a world champion, well, I had to become an actor. Why not maximize what I learned as an actor, what I've done with this body, within my own potential, my personal power? If you have the ability to do that, you can do anything you want to within the range of the success you want to follow.
That's great, thank you.
Thanks so much.
So I think we have two last questions. Are you good with two? Okay, let's go over here.
Mr. Ferrigno, welcome back home.
Thank you.
And thank you for answering the question about the Falling Forth movie that didn't see the light of day. Thank you for answering that ahead of time. But my backup question I have is, I saw an interview clip of you talking about working with Michael Jackson shortly before the start of his This Is It tour. And I guess my question was like, what was he like? Because I heard a whole bunch of other stories, how he's a great guy, and all that stuff. I'm not saying they were lying, but I just want to know from your perspective, especially considering when you said yourself that you were trying to get him back into top form and top shape for that upcoming tour.
Yeah.
Well, I've been training Michael Jackson for over 20 years. We kept it a secret. Michael was a wonderful human being. Michael was so famous that he's more famous than Mickey Mouse. When he came to my house 10 o'clock at night, I had to put all the lights down and open the electronic gate because of his visibility. So I admire his passion for music, he admired passion for fitness, because we became good friends. He trusts me because he came to me because he couldn't go to a gym and he doesn't trust any other trainer, because we were good friends. But he was such a genuine person. All that crap about him, about the pedophile stuff, I don't believe it, that's my opinion. I spent time with him because I know, other stories come out of the skeletons come out of the closet, but he's been around my family, he's been good with my family. I've never seen him in any weird situation. He was a brilliant man, and when he made the comeback, he was in debt, $430 million, and he had to make the comeback. And I started to train him at the time, and he always has a great positive attitude. But I was very happy because he had 3 kids with him, and he's a beautiful man. He had difficulty sleeping, but I've never seen such a human being that's so the charisma about him, the way he moved, the way he sang. So we lost an incredible legend, but to my heart, he was a fantastic person.
I'm really happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got a final question here.
Final question.
Last question for our young Spider.
Were you ever compared to The Rock?
So he asked if you were ever compared to The Rock. And before you answer, I do want to mention, The Rock also played in the CFL.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
For a brief time in Calgary, so...
The Rock come a long way. I mean, you gotta give that guy credit. And you gotta remember one thing, he told me one time, when he was a kid, he used to watch the Hulk, he worshipped the Hulk, because when I began this series, at the time, this was before Pepe Onion, nobody knew, I even won Mr. Universe, now World of Sport, no one knew at the time that a big man like myself with muscles that could do different things like be an actor. So The Rock is apparently, he followed my footsteps and he became a terrific actor. So I have to give him a lot of credit for that, but he's a beautiful person, but I didn't realize he played Canadian football because he was almost the same path. Anyway, I want to say thank you for coming. I'll be here all weekend. God bless you, I love you. Embrace your passion. Have a great night. Thank you.